Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is June 20th, and right now we're looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. You can see BC, Washington, Oregon. You can see the alignment of this trough over the region, keeping things chilly for at least the next day or so. Wraparound moisture coming back across the area too. We've got over a third of an inch at my house here. Great for the grass and garden, but this trough's going to weaken. It's going to sag south, and we're going to bring some ridging here across some of BC, and we're going to warm things up here across Pacific Northwest as we go later on in the period. More on that here later in the video. This is looking at a nice affordable home weather station. Click on that link below to save 10% off. It stores all this data for you that it collects in the cloud for free. Picked up those lightning strikes a couple of days ago. I highly recommend this weather station. This is looking at Spokane National Weather Service. Cool and showery. Upper level trough is here. It's in place. We're going to get some thunderstorm activity the next few days as well. But look towards the weekend here. You can see the warm up coming. Some 80s will return, as well as much of the area will go above average here as we go on in towards this next weekend coming up here. So something to look forward to there. And just a reminder, this next couple of days, watch out for those wet and raw backcountry conditions. And you can see some gusty winds, some snow at the higher terrain there. So not your typical summertime conditions out in the backcountry across Pacific Northwest here. Heads up for that. Now, looking at the European, they're improving some of their forecast models here. We're improving the resolution on the ensemble runs here. So we're going to get a lot better look or more detailed look at these ensemble members coming up here. So that's a big improvement there. They're also going to be a big improvement to the extended range ensemble there. So it's going to go out 46 days. It's going to run by itself, and they're going to run this model every single day. And it's going to have 101 ensemble members with it. Pretty wild stuff. I'm going to try to get access to those ensemble members there. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Hopefully it's on one of these web pages I use. But anyway, it's nice to see these improvements in the European weather models. I mean, it's just more tools in our tool bag here to forecast with. This is looking at that. You can kind of see how this runs twice a week. This is going to be running every single day. It's going to go out 46 days here. So something interesting to look at here, especially get on towards the fall and winter months and things really start getting crazy again here across the Pacific Northwest. This is looking at 18,000 feet, 500 millibars, and you can see the alignment of this trough that we looked at on the mid-level water vapor loop. You can see the chilly temperatures at 18,000 feet. Put that into motion, you'll see those temperatures start to relax a bit here. And so we're going to start to go above average here as we go on in through the period towards this weekend. You can clearly see where we are now to where we'll be on Friday afternoon. Temperatures moderating aloft for sure. This is looking at composite reflectivity, then M3KM, hot off the presses, 12Z. You can see that wraparound moisture is still impacting some of western Washington, some of the Portland area there today as well. Northeast Washington, BC, Alberta, some of the panhandle of Idaho there as we go into tomorrow morning. And then again, we're going to kick up some of these thunderstorms potentially across some of the higher terrain as we go through tomorrow, and then maybe again Thursday as well. We'll take a closer look at that. Looks like we might get some thunderstorms across the Cascades Thursday also. This is the visitor center here. Paradise can kind of foggy up there, kind of sporting their new fall and snowfall across the higher terrain here with this chilly upper level low, very cold for this time of year. This is the day one thunderstorm outlook. It does include eastern Oregon. Tomorrow will include the Cascades, and probably the next day as well, some of northeast Washington, Idaho, and Montana also. This is looking at the lightning flash density potential. And as we go through the day today, you can see that activity across some of the eastern Oregon, some Idaho and Montana as well. Then we go on into tomorrow, and you'll see some of this activity kick up near the Cascades here. And then Thursday, maybe a little bit better chance here across the Cascades. We'll take a more detailed look at that tomorrow, even showing some lightning across some of southwest BC, Olympic Mountains, maybe even out the coastal range a little bit here. So we'll watch that one in a little bit more detail tomorrow. This is looking at the National Blend of Models daily 2-meter max temperature, struggling to get above 60 here for Seattle today, and especially with all that precip falling, it's going to be tough. And you can see the suppression of the temperatures and pretty chilly across some of the Rockies, the Cascades, higher terrain at BC. And this will be looking actually, let me back up there again here a moment, and we'll look out a little bit further. Let's go to Wednesday. Check it out. We're bouncing back here. We're getting back into the mid and upper 70s for the Willamette Valley. Look by Thursday, Seattle 75. 80 degrees by Friday. We're going to be bouncing back here as we go towards the end of the weekend coming up here. And you can see the valleys of BC getting in the action, and big changes here coming for the Pacific Northwest as we roll through the weekend here. And it looks like we're going to be staying above average. The average high for this time of year is either 70 or 71. I think it becomes 71, but still, we're going to be above that here as we go on into next week, most likely. This is looking at the European ensemble mean on the left, the GFS ensemble mean on the right. This is an average of all 30 GFS ensemble runs and all 50 European ensemble runs on the left. And pretty good agreement here on what's going to transpire, as you can see this trough kind of off the coast of California and the ridging trying to build across some of BC here. This goes out 144 hours, but you can clearly see kind of that signal there for the trough remaining, but some ridging there impinging on the Pacific Northwest, probably keeping us at least average conditions here and probably a little bit higher depending on just where this trough sets up. Small differences in where it sets up are going to be big differences across the Pacific Northwest. Something to watch here for the next few days. This is the European ensemble run. You can see how it's got a control run down here. This is the not deterministic. This is the initial conditions best we understand them. Each one of these 50 ensemble members, we tweak those initial conditions to try to correct for any errors we may have in our initial condition forecast. So you can kind of see that as you run these out a little bit, you start to get some disagreement somewhat. And so as these stay closer, you kind of increase your confidence in these individual forecasts. This one only goes out to about Sunday afternoon here. So pretty good agreement coming up with the warm-up coming this weekend here. Just a quick look at the ensemble members and how they work there for you. Hope that made sense. This is the GFS. It runs 30 ensemble members here. And you can kind of see as you get off into the extended, you start to see some big differences. The chaotic nature of looking out into a forecast of the ensembles starts to take shape here. And you can kind of see the temperatures bouncing all over the place. But in the short term, you've got pretty good confidence here. Now, looking at 6 to 10 day temperature probability outlook through June 29th here, a lot of the Pacific Northwest kind of bullseyed there. And you can see that trough hanging out down across California here, keeping temperature suppressed a bit. 8 to 14 days, something similar there. This goes through July 3rd. We're almost to the 4th of July. How about that? Now, looking at 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, kind of an above average signal here across a lot of the West Coast. And again, all the way out through July 3rd here with a big below average signal here across some of Texas and the desert Southwest as well. Now, this is something interesting here. So this was issued June 15th. I haven't gone over this yet. I kind of forgot. But we have introduced some moderate drought across the Cascades and the northern Cascades here. And that's because that lack of rainfall. But an upper level low like this can help, suppress some of that. So hopefully we can get rid of that moderate drought here. Maybe another trough will set up here in the early summertime months here, so we can kind of keep that fire danger at bay. A little bit of severe drought over northwest Montana there as well, and some moderate drought across the Idaho Panhandle. But if you remember, we were dealing with exceptional and extreme drought across a lot of Oregon, the east slopes of the Cascades. We've erased both that extreme and that exceptional drought here. So that's kind of good news there, but still some areas dealing with a severe drought. But anyway, yeah, we'll take a little bit closer look at those details. I will probably, at some point, I'll probably do a video where I just talk about the ensemble members as well, so I can kind of nail things down and kind of explain it a little bit better. Kind of went through it pretty quickly today, but I'm pretty excited about those European models there and how they're improving their forecast tools. I look forward to very much using that here in the future and sharing that with you guys. So anyway, hope you guys are getting out and enjoying this cooler weather here. You're probably going to look back fondly at this upper level trough here at some point during this summer when the heat starts to set in. But anyway, we'll do this again tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys then.